$3.
Okay, let's take a look at the problem on the screen there. This is still a system of equations. We could graph this if we wanted to. This is like one of the problems that was on your quiz a second ago. Or we could use substitution, which is what we're going to learn about today. Okay, substitution. So if I say that y equals 1, I already know half of my answer. Okay, because as you've been noticing in our graphing, we always graph and we have an ordered pair as an answer unless they're parallel lines, okay? So our ordered pairs are always written like this, x comma y. We already know in our ordered pair y is 1. So we know half of our answer already. So to substitute, you just pick up and put in place in the other problem. You pick up the 1, y is 1. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it right there, and then that turns into a problem that I can solve using algebra, okay? So I'm going to solve this problem. 1 equals 3x minus 8. I'm going to use my algebra skills to solve this. What number over here do I need to get rid of first? The 8. How do you get rid of minus 8? Plus it. Add it. Add 8 to both sides. This is not new information. It just looks a little different. So 9 equals 3 x's. How do I break apart the 3 and the x? Yes, by division. So divide that. So my x would be 3. So there's the other part. I know that y was 1 and x now is 3. There's my final answer. I didn't have to graph anything. All I had to do was use a little bit of algebra. So what do you think about this? Not bad?
Easy.
Some people actually like graphing it better than they do using the algebra. I like both methods. Let's try, here's another one. This one right here is probably the easier type that you will see. It tells you again that x is 4, okay? So in my ordered pair, it's always written like this. For some reason we messed that up. X is 4, so I've got half of my answer. I have to figure out what the y is. So I'm going to substitute in, if I know x is 4, I'm going to go up here and put a 4 right there over the x. Okay, so what does it mean when I've got parentheses there?
Divide it.
Not divide, but multiply, yeah. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then add 3.
11.
So 11. So y is 11. So your y is 11. That was pretty simple. Okay, that's just using substitution. You're taking it and you're subbing it in. Okay, so I wanted to actually physically do that because some people are visual, so that makes it, I can say, oh yeah, that's where that goes. Okay, so now let's grab our foldables and let's add a few little notes in there. Solving by substitution. Open up that flap and you will see 4 different little examples that I put in there. So you're going to may have to write kind of small, but notice that it gives you half of your answer already. Okay, it gives you either the x or the y, and you have to substitute in to find the other one. So for the first example, I'm going to write my x and y up here just as a reminder. Y is -1, so I already know half my answer. So go ahead and plug in the -1. Now to solve it, I need to take this right here and I need to substitute it into my other problem. So I need to put the -1 right there. And since I can't cut this out, I'm just going to rewrite it down below, okay? So -1 equals 2x minus 3. And then we go solving this as an equation. The number I need to get rid of here is the 3. So add 3 to both sides. Be careful with your signs. Don't tell me that that's 4, because that's going to be a 2, right? So 2 equals 2 x's. Break apart the 2 and the x by division. So x would be positive 1. So there's my x, and I already was given my y. Pretty simple. Look at the next example. This one gives me my x, which is 2. I have to figure out what the y is. So again, I pick up the 2 and I place it in where the x is. That would make it look like this. Y equals 3 parentheses 2, which means multiply, and then plus 4. This is my favorite kind because I don't have to do much algebra, I just have to substitute it in and do the order of operations. 3 times 2, 6 plus 4, 10, yep, almost there. So y is 10, so then go up here, and the answer is 10. Okay, over here, it tells you y is 7. So there's the part of my answer that I already have. If I know that y is 7, pick it up, put it here. It will be 7 equals x minus 4. And solve it. So what's x going to be? How much?
11.
Yeah. 11 equals x. Perfect. So 11 is your x. And then one more here. And then we'll look at one that's a little more difficult. X comma y is 1. Looking for the x. If I plug that in, I get 1 equals negative 2x minus 7.
So the
Let's
ones
add
with the
7.
Y, you do the algebra, and the ones with the X.
You just kind of have to just, you just do order of operations.
Okay.
But now it's going to get uglier here in a second because we're going to put variables on both sides. That's okay, we've done those before. This is a negative 2x, so a lot of people will forget that negative sign, so don't forget that if you can help it. Divide by your negative 2, and x would be
-4.
a negative 4. Perfect. Now, here's one like I was talking about. I'm going to write it up here because there's some blank space up here. This one looks a little different. You've got a little more work to do, and you will have some on your examples that you practiced today, okay? So let's write this out. Y equals 5x minus 15. And then y equals 2x. So now instead of me just saying y is 2, I'm putting an extra variable in there. So what this means for me is, do I have an x or a y already given to me? Does it say x equals this or y equals this like the ones in the bottom? Not really. It's close, but not quite. I still work it out the same way. If I know that y is a 2x, I'm going to take it and substitute it in up here. So I'm going to, if I had this cut out, I would pick it up and place it over that. It would look like this. 2x equals 5x minus 15. Now, do you remember when we worked problems that had variables on both sides and we decided as a group that it was easier to move the smallest amount of x's over? So the smaller amount would be the 2x's. So it's positive right now. To move it across that equal sign, it needs to become negative or minus 2x. Okay, so let's do that. We're moving it because we need them together. So I'm just going to do on both sides. I'm taking it away from here so that it's gone. So I have 0 equals 5x's, take away 2 of your x's, leaves 3x's, good. And I'm just bringing down the minus 15. The next step would be to get my 15 away. So I would add 15 to both sides. This isn't new information, it just may look a little different to us. So 15 equals 3 x's. And then I need to break apart my 3 and the x by division. So the next would be 5. Now we know what x is. We know that x is 5. So up in my answer up here, I'm going to say x is 5. Now, I have to substitute this back in. Which equation looks easier to sub in, the top one or the bottom one?
Bottom.
You could actually do either one, but I think the bottom one looks, it's only got one step. If I say x is a 5, I'm going to put it up here and just drop that 5 right in here. And so what is my y going to be?
10.
Yeah, 2 times your 5, which is 10. So that'll be the most difficult type of problem that you see when it's got variables on both sides. But it really isn't that difficult. You've got this example to go by. On the back of this foldable, we've got a few little you try problems. Those 3 right there, where it's not none of the more difficult ones. So I want you to actually try those. And before I give you your practice sheet, we'll go over these and see if you got this and we're on the right track, okay?